So we're about 3/4 of the way through this project. I just wanted to give you guys an update on the place. Plumbing is still not ideal. Lots and lots of drywall. Stairs are put in. Lots of hours of work. I mean, dozens of hours. The AC unit in down here. Got 2 of the light fixtures up. My work light. Got the cans ready to roll. First coat of paint on this part of the ceiling. As you can see, I'm gonna have to go back and fix some taping on the drywall. There's a couple of bumps just because the surface wasn't quite prepped correctly. We were throwing everything up in a hurry. All in all, most of the ceiling turned out reasonably well. Pretty happy with it. We got the stairs in. We're working on this closet under the stairs. It should be a nice little cupboard. I got to put one more sheet of drywall up just to kind of cover the back side there where it'll be exposed on the actual staircase. The rest of that's just going to stay unfinished. I got to put a wall up here after I get the rest of the drywall in. That's going to be the closet door. We ended up leaving the beams, sketchy as they may be, and we just kind of sistered them up here with some 2x6s. They're cut down a little bit. It's more like a 2x5. And we did that on both of these that really needed some help. This beam over here seems to be in pretty good condition still, so we decided just to leave it. We bought full-size beams to replace it with for both of these that are the exact original fit, but we ended up finding out that the weight of the roof sits out on the end of the beam on either end, and it was going to be a lot bigger project than we thought we were getting into to actually change those out. So we did the 2x6s, replaced a lot of stringers up above underneath the drywall here, and it should be plenty strong enough to do what we're trying to do. Got the French doors up, rebuilt this whole wall from the corner all the way over to that seam behind the pipe. That's brand new pressure treat with 3/4 inch plywood on either side of the studs. There's a 4x6 beam actually going from the concrete here up, supporting those 2x6s. And as far as the stairs go, the stairs was a heck of a project in and of itself. They're turning out a lot better than we expected originally. There's gonna be some of the hardware is probably gonna be exposed unless we can figure out a way to hide it. There's a few little things that bother me. It didn't quite line up flush like we wanted it to here, and it actually sticks out about 1.25 inches. So I mean, it is what it is. I'll probably try to figure something out to maybe kind of trim this out. We were gonna do carpet. Now we're talking about maybe staining it. I'm not really sure what we're gonna do with them, but this is the staircase. I mean, it's definitely got some work left to do on it, but this is that piece of plywood I was talking about. I left myself a little gap right here, just enough for me to slide a piece of plywood in, or drywall. Down in here, I had done it a little different, and I ended up actually putting the stairs in first and then cutting out the drywall for all of them. And you see it didn't line up very well. I've never done anything like that before. It was pretty difficult. So I just decided on this side, since this isn't a load-bearing wall, I would just go ahead, leave myself a space, tuck the drywall in. The stairs are plenty strong enough without being screwed into these studs, but I may go back and add some kind of bracketry on the bottom that holds it to that wall. Up here we got baby girl's room. Normally there's an AC unit in the window right here, and so we actually cut out a window in her bedroom wall, and we've got a big fan that's going to go in it. Baby girl's room is almost done. Been working on doing the last little bit of painting. Just got the carpet in last weekend. That's the fan that goes in the window. I just need to do the trim work around the window. We got all the baseboards in already. We just need to install them. Got some of the outlet covers on. Some of the stuff didn't quite line up right, just because we left the original hardware there. So that's gonna take a little bit of, you know, kind of tweaking, but overall, I mean, the ceiling doesn't look half bad. I wasn't exactly sure how it was gonna turn out, but I can live with it. Just got a nice little window. Closet. I just put the first coat of paint on it. Some Kills primer. Not sure if I'm gonna do the pink or just keep it white. Honestly, it's such a dark corner because there's no natural light in there, and there's not really a light at all. I may just go ahead and do another coat of do a coat of white paint on top of the primer, and I think it'll actually look pretty good. So I put padding underneath this carpet. I actually got a good deal on the carpet for about 75 bucks for a roll, and it was just barely the right size to fit this room. I got the tack strips all around the edges. I put the padding down, and then I used a knee kicker stretcher and a carpet knife to stretch it all out where it needed to be. This room, we were given some tile. I think we're going to install the tile in this room. I just have to get all this is our kind of storage area right now, this crap cleaned out. I know the tile is going to crack eventually because it is a wood floor, and the wood is going to kind of shift and warp over time, but you know, it's kind of a temporary solution to a permanent problem. And I think that it will look good while it lasts. We only plan on living here for a couple of years, so hopefully, you know, in the next couple of years, it won't really matter to us whether it cracks or not. I know that probably sounds kind of bad, but, you know, it won't be a problem at that point. And the tile and all the materials, the grout and everything to put it down was free, so all we really got to put in it is the labor. And we should have a nice floor for now. So I'm not stressing about it. I'm pretty happy with how the tile looks. I got it all stacked up in the corner over here. Got this beautiful wood table from Josh. I've got it covered up right now with my table saw on top of it. Came with this sweet little bench. Just got to get a couple more chairs. That's the tile for upstairs. And I got the ceiling fan ready to go. The other light fixture ready to go for those two cans up there. We bought this fireplace last week. It's an electric fireplace. Beautiful wood. Picked that up on Facebook Marketplace. Kind of the plan for the layout in this room now. It's changed since we started the project. We've got our plumbing here. We weren't really able to do anything with it. It kind of has to stay because of where the shower, the toilet, and the drain for what used to be the kitchen sink, just because of where all that stuff is, and that sewer has to be gravity, all your sewage has to go downhill basically towards the septic. So there wasn't really a good way to snake it over and hide it because there's not that much room in between the drywall and the studs. As you see there, like there's about the width of a 2x4 between the drywall and the floor upstairs. You can actually see right to the shower right now. So there's no room to hide that plumbing in the ceiling. So what we're probably gonna do is hide it in some cabinetry. The kitchen sink is gonna go right here. There'll be a countertop that comes out about maybe about here, 24, I think it's 24 inches out into the room. It'll go all the way down to just before the door there, and it'll turn and come out, I think about 5 feet into the room, and that should give us room for the sink the dishwasher, a nice countertop, maybe a cabinet here, the stove, and another cabinet. And then I've got some ideas for how I'm gonna hang the hood vent, but that's gonna be a little interesting. I'm probably gonna have to kind of hang it and then like make a 90 and go out the side of the wall with it like they do in mobile homes. But I think it should look nice. It's gonna be stainless steel. We're trading in our stove for a stainless steel stove. The sink is gonna be a full size 36 by 24 sink. I don't remember how many inches deep it is. I think maybe around 12 or something like that. So we should have a decent sized kitchen actually. The fridge is just gonna have to probably go in between the door and the window there. There's not really a good place for it. We might tuck it away in the corner behind where that fan is right now. And then the dining room table is gonna be turned and kind of in front of the AC unit on one side of the fridge or the other, kind of offset a little bit. This space will be the living room. We're looking at some couches. We're gonna get maybe a small wraparound couch, like a sectional that goes from about here and kind of comes around and turns. And the fireplace should fit perfectly right here in between the closet and that wall over there. So we'll have the fireplace and the TV over here, kind of be our living room area. So overall, I think with the current ideas for the layout, we're utilizing the space pretty well. There's a lot of work left to do. Like I said, I'm probably only about 3/4 of the way done with this right now. I got some mud work left to do. The mudding turned out pretty well here. I'm pretty happy with how the mud work turned out on this side of the ceiling. As far as that piece of tape goes, I may end up just taking it back off and kind of starting over with that seam in between those two sheets and just go back and repaint it after I get the mud dried and resanded. I guess maybe there wasn't enough mud underneath the tape and that's why it's peeling off of the wall like that or off the ceiling like that. But I definitely don't want to leave that tape like that. But I mean, small imperfections, like maybe a few spots here and there that aren't quite sanded down all the way like this. I mean, really, it's very minimally noticeable. And once everything is completely painted, I don't really think it'll look that bad. The beams are going to be trimmed out. I got these guys right here. They're kind of rough cut boards. They're real cheap at Lowe's. I think they're actually intended for like privacy fence panels, but it's a nice thick piece of wood. It's got a kind of a cool finish to it, a rough kind of cut finish. We're gonna tack those up, use them as trim around the beams, give them a nice stain, and it should still have that kind of natural wood look to it. Not really trying to do that smooth finish. I kind of like the idea of keeping it kind of rough looking, but I don't want to leave it that rough, you know what I mean? So, but I got the crown molding. Actually, let me show you this. I thought this was pretty cool. I got all this on Amazon. The crown molding comes in a roll, and it's like caulking strips. Let's see if there's a picture of it on here. Basically, it's peel and stick. It's got adhesive on the back of it, and it just kind of sits right in the corner. And it's super easy to wrap around. I'm just hoping it'll cover the gaps. Now that I actually have it and I see about how big it is, I did have an issue with that in Iris's room upstairs. The bigger gaps like this, it may not completely hide the gaps, so I'm gonna have to figure something out with that. Maybe go back and add more mud, maybe add a very small piece of wood trim around the top.